Hello, welcome back and well met. It's WR Frady here. I'm going to start working on some more of Areth. A little bit of an update on that. I went to go get some supplies today to try to continue building, especially in the areas where I've run out. Unfortunately, where I went was out of the supplies that I needed for the moment. So that's just going to take a little time to wait. And sometimes it's just good to take your time and not get in a rush and try to find a substitute or find something to get in the way, because not all items and all crafts are created equal. So like right now I've been going to Hobby Lobby and I've been using the Master's Touch, and just because Master's Touch and another brand might have the same color, the pigments may be slightly or maybe completely different, even if it's the same color. And rather than throw off everything that I've been building, I would rather wait and get the piece I need, which I'm going to flip it around here and show you what's missing. Okay, as you can see, this section of the southern half of Loren is completely open and has not been shaded in as the rest of the map has. The color that I'm needing is this light pale green that I have done the general landscape with, and so I have to just take and wait for that item to come back in. Anyway, so while I'm at it, sorry about that. Now, so that being said, I'm gonna flip you around so you don't have the light in your face. So anyway, that being said, we're still going to be doing some good world building, map making stuff. I've been doing some naming conventions for forests. Drawing the map is one of the easiest, maybe tedious, but it's actually one of the easiest. The real challenge comes in the naming and the naming conventions thereof. So what we're going to do is today I'm going to go through and I'm going to work on filling in some of the lakes. While I am doing that, I'm going to talk to you a little bit. You might hear me go quiet a bit, as I normally do when I'm trying to concentrate. I like carrying you along on my journey. So, if you do anything that takes a bit of concentration, when you got to concentrate, you may go quiet. You may, you may focus more on what you're doing. So. It's not that I'll forget that you're there, it's just I'm busy on that, but I keep coming back and talking to you. If I can get this up to 50 subscribers, this channel, which, if you want to link down below and subscribe. If you want to tell your buddies about this, get them on, let them subscribe. Support would help. I could get on here and start doing this live instead of pre-recording it. And then, I could still do the pre-recording, but I would like to do some that are live where I can get on and talk to you as I'm doing it, which allows me to answer questions and basically connect with some of you who may be interested in what it is that I'm doing. Anyway, so what we're going to do, I'm going to flip you around right here. We're going to start, I've already done a couple of lakes just to see how this is going to pan out. It looks like it's going to work out nicely. I love the layout. I like the way that it's complementing things. Right now, I'm in the frozen parts of Loren and the northern parts, which, going back to my naming scheme, is going to have a lot of wintry, Norse, Russian, basically a lot of things Icelandic, anything that's going to be involved wintry and polar and cold-like regions. So it's going to have those kind of names, especially with the fantasy flair to give that hint, like the frozen forests and stuff like that. to get everything going and keep a good theme about the land, because again, like I've said in previous episodes, everything is named like it is for a reason. And so there's a story behind. So I want to be able to be sure I create a good reason for those stories. Matter of fact, this land up here in this northern realm is also the home of the Nasaria, the Valley of the Winds. So, and where I'm going to place that, I'm not really certain yet. So I've got to kind of look at my landscape and see what fits the story of the Nasaria, of the Valley of the Winds. So you've got Nasaria of the Valley, that's the Valley of the Winds. You've got Narlanthia, which is the home of the realm of ancient waterfalls. You've got Drakhorn. I kept wanting to say Drakenstad or Drakenholm, but the Drakhorn Mountain, which is home of the home of the realm of the fire elementals, or home of the realm of fire, which I've yet to name, which I will. But yeah, this is just a part of the journey. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough now and let you look at me long enough. Let's flip this thing around and get some work going. All right, as I'm flipping you around here to get you set up. Okay, as you can see, I've already done a couple of the smaller lakes here. So we're going to do a couple of these right here in this area before we get to the frozen wastes of Valhalla. May even do the lake in the frozen waste of Valhalla, just to kind of let you guys carry on. Oh, by the way, music in the background is, you may hear, is Harmony Tales. Helps kind of set, getting some ambient music and such, kind of helps set the mood as I'm doing my world building, and kind of gets me into that. Yeah, it gets me into that mood, that mindset, and into my imagination a little more about what it is I'm trying to do. So, anyway, let's get this started. I'm going to pull my non-fudging board right here over. But anyway, my anti-fouling paper is what I call it, which I do even use for like making sure that colors are going to be what they need to be. So like I just saw that, and so I just picked up the wrong one, which I'm glad I noticed. So like you see, let's see, is that that's the pale light blue. That's the one I wanted. So with the pale light blue, what I'm trying to do, touch up that little edge right there. Okay, so the pale light blue is what's going to touch the edge of the lakes. It's for the shallow water. You know, if you ever notice, shallow water shows to be a little lighter than the deep. If you look even if you look on world maps, you'll see that is a common factor, even in actual geography. You know, the darker the waters, the deeper, it really is. Anyways, oh, shame on you about making me drop that and mess up. Ooh, let's flip you around like that now. All right, let's do that again. Now, here we go. Okay, now that I've got out to that central location, we're going to flip around to the other one that I almost grabbed to begin with. And we're going to get a little darker here. So what this does is creates a slight bit of realism. I'm going to flip it back to the pale, just kind of blend in those edges. And there you have it. There's one of them already down. Okay. This one is going to be a little harder because Let me see if you can see where I'm at and what I'm doing. I'm going to put my pen right there at the edge of it. Make sure that you're able to see what it is. Yes, you sure can. Good, good, good. Let me see if I can zoom in just a little. There we go. Now you can see. All right, now. I'm doing this by hand like this, and it being as small as it is, I can see why the cartographers for some of the old Dungeons and Dragons world would actually do these massive maps on the ground so that they could get down and do them where they were. All right, so this is going to be touchy because it's not. There we go. Now, let's go out here and get this one. Oh, and get one of those. All right. Yeah, up here in the northern wastes, in the northern lands, in the winterlands, and the polar areas, those are going to be a little more almost like they're going to blend in with the surrounding landscape as opposed to what you would expect from down below in the southern areas of Loren. The key is this fractalization right here that I've got to make sure that the coastlines look like coastlines. Man, it makes it a little bit of a challenge, I'm not gonna lie. Now, I'm not gonna sit here and act like I'm an expert at making maps. I'm not. There are people out there there are artists out there that cartography is their specialty. But this doesn't stop it from being a lot of fun and incredibly rewarding. I mean, to see something that you create and have built coming together is just, there's something that's just untouchable about it. I mean, there's just such a beauty to this. Okay, we get that back over to this and fill in some of these edges. There we go. Look at that. I'm gonna let you. Let's see. Oh, good. You got to see me do that just a little bit. Now. All right. So. Okay. So you see what's going on with the way that I'm doing these lakes. It is going to be a slightly tedious process. There are a lot of lakes, especially as I go. I've got to name these lakes, these inner seas. Well, you know, in Lorenhard, I've got a majority of everything named. Is the extensions, the northern and southern parts of Loren, which I call Nordwin and Soren. Those areas I have got to completely build like whole areas and names and go through the naming schemes for that. I've got to increase some of the names for Lorenhard. There's going to be some places there. But beyond that, it's one of those tasks that is going to be incredibly tedious. but very well worth it. And I love to have you guys coming along with me on this journey. I thank you for joining me on this journey, which I'm not signing out yet. I just wanted to flip around and explain some of the stuff that's going on. But before we get too sidetracked and start going down any rabbit holes, let's get you flipped back around and do this next one. All right. So this is the Frozen Wastes of Valhalla. And we're going to jump in here, and we've got a couple of places. Oh, I see an area I missed when I did my mapping a little while back. Let me fix this right here. There we go. I got to see me correct a mistake. That's one of the good things about going in and doing this. You get to see some of the mistakes and stuff being fixed. Now, let's try this again. Got my pale blue light, making sure I got the right one. Start right here. Yeah, like I said, I'm not meaning to stay silent. At least you got some music to keep you company. It fits just perfect with what I'm doing. Again, I think it said Harmony Tales is the name of the music, is the name of the group for doing the music. I'll also listen to people like Celestial Leon Project, Adrian von Ziegler, Bruneville, a couple of really, really good individuals. I've got, especially Bruno, the Fichter brothers. I mean, they've got Everrune, sorry, not Everrune, Score Wizard. So yeah, I listen to a lot of different fantasy music, which I'm actually glad that we have more fantasy artists. Back when I first started working on Loren, when I started building the world of Areth and the continent of Loren and such, there really wasn't any good fantasy music that you could find that wasn't just general Celtic music or from Lord of the Rings or Willow or something like that. And you were really limited. But then I started seeing, and the first ones like that I got introduced to was Adrian von Ziegler and Bruneville. And they just opened up and paved the way for people like Peter Crowley to come into the picture. And I'm not saying that they're responsible for this, but I mean, they're the ones that, through them, I found these other artists. Arne Anderson, Antti Markin. So yeah, there's some tremendously awesome fantasy artists out there now. Then I got on the Radio Rivendell. Radio Rivendell has a lot of good music. I've actually got stories up on Radio Rivendell. So yeah, that's always fun to do. I mean, I love getting on Radio Rivendell and doing that. There we go. Look at that. That is coming along very nicely. I'm filling some of these areas. Now, got one down here. I think one of my favorite artists I still like to listen to just for his atmospheric sound is Windswept. Windswept has some outrageously good, just fantasy ambient music. Whoa, wrong color, wrong color. Where did you come from? Anyway, I'm glad I caught that. Whew. These are pale blue, okay. Yeah, pastel blue, good. That's what I was looking for, pastel blue. Alright, now. Alright. I'd like to give a shout out to the person who inspired me to start doing the streaming and videoing again. You know who you are if you're watching this. Thank you. I appreciate it. I appreciate you. And I hope that I can be as much of a good influence on you in your life as you are in mine. I appreciate it. Thank you very much. And like I said, you know who you are. All right. Now, coming up in August, I'll start filming them. But coming up in September, I may take a pullback on doing this as it is ghost story season. I need to go ahead. I need to take today or take some time today or this weekend, start getting the rest of my. Oh, here's one we got over here. Get some more of my live ghost stories by the fireside. There we go. Oh, yep. Let me do this last one here, and yeah, and then I'll sign off with this thing for now. But anyway, as I was saying, I'll be putting on live ghost stories by the fireside, and I need to get them done and put up, because I've got 5 seasons of live ghost stories by the fireside to go up. All right. But anyway, ghost story season will be coming up, as I was saying before. And with ghost story season comes this year will be W.R. Frady's Friday Night Frights, which I will be filming and posting up here so that I can share them out. And I'm going to try to get about 8 episodes filmed and done, some on location, some with special guests, which I look forward to. Every year I look forward to doing my ghost stories. Now, you got to see how this is turning out. Let's take you up above, give you an aerial view of what we've covered so far. And go to the angle in which you'd see it if you're looking at the map the right way. Now, you're seeing how it's coming together. All right. Now, that being said, we'll get this thing set back right. All righty. All right. Well, you've seen what's going on with the map and the lakes and stuff. It's going to be one of them tedious things, but it's going to get to a point where I've got to start filling in the names and stuff. I've got to have those names and have a layout for them to go properly on to the map, like I've done down here with Loren. And I wish I had done some of this planning before I did some of those on Loren Heart, but hey, they are where they are. I can't undo them. I'm not unsatisfied with them, but I know that I could have done better, which means we do better from here out. Anyway, I appreciate that you're coming along and joining me in this journey. It is an absolute blast getting to share the new updates and how everything's coming along. I will come back on and do some more work with Loren. I've also got some creature concept and stuff coming up for a story, a novel I'm working on called Joshua Eaton and the Ever-Ending Summer. So I've got some creature concepts that I got to come up with for that. I'll come back on at some point and work on that and take you along on that journey without giving away too much. I don't want to reveal too much of what's going on with Joshua Eaton, other than just some brief ideas. But yeah. Anyway, as I was saying, coming up in August, I will be filming the W.R. Frady's Friday Night Frights, which will be released every Friday between September and Halloween. Each episode, I couldn't do these live like I would like to, because live depends on web signal, and if I don't have a web signal, I don't get to do them live. But I do get to do them I do get a chance to try and do some of these maybe on location. I will be talking to some locations. I will be getting some guests to come in and join in, maybe tell a story or two of theirs. And I'm at least going to be recording at least 1 to 2 stories per episode, because I don't want to overdo it. Some of the live ghost stories kind of went on longer than I expected to, but they were great. I enjoyed that. It was a learning process, as will this new series. But doing what I'm doing here with you guys, I get to practice and be getting ready for that as well. And as they go, everything would just get better. Anyway, I thank you for joining me. I appreciate this. I am going to get back to work here. I'm also going to try and find something to eat, because, and the Winnie the Pooh would say, I'm feeling a little rumbly in my tumbly. Anyway, guys, I appreciate everyone joining me. I thank you and look forward to being able to share more of Areth, Loren, and other stories, worlds, and stuff that I'm building with you guys. Thank you. I hope you have an amazing weekend. I will be back on the post again soon. How soon? I don't know. Maybe shorts. It may be just some more of the full lengths. Either way, I will be back on and posting. I appreciate you guys. Thank you. I will talk to you again soon. I hope you have a wonderful weekend. Take care. And until next time, God bless, and don't stop dreaming. And never accept anything less than your best. You never know who you're inspiring. There's somebody that's watching you, and they're seeing what you're doing that may be what helps them or inspires them to do better. So if you're going to do anything in this world, do what you can to make it a better place for the people around you. Does that mean take on everybody else, try and be there for every single person? No, it just means to be the best version of you. And sometimes the best version of you may look like opening up, doing what you do normally. Other times it may be drawing lines and showing people what can and can't be tolerated. So in that, always be the best version of yourself. Anyway, don't want to get down in that rabbit hole. Everyone have a good weekend. I will talk to you again soon.